How can he get a performance out of that team for Wednesday night when Liverpool actually need it most?
Well, obviously, I mean, some of those players are breaking the trust that they'll have built up in the first 2 or 3 months, where I'm sure he'll have liked what he saw. He's now seeing probably the fact that these players are capable of turning the tap on and off. And I don't think any of us that have been in football were conned by the first 2 or 3 months by Ole Solskjaer. I welcomed it. We welcomed it as Manchester United fans. We thought it was fantastic, but knew that players who were capable of downing tools under Jose Mourinho, one of the most successful managers over the last 20 years, were also capable of doing it under anybody else. The big problem those players now have is, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last quote in that press conference I thought was quite telling, where he said, I'm going to be successful at this football club. Some of those players will be on the journey with me and some of them won't. You are supported 100% in getting rid of any player who falls below the work ethic and values that Manchester United have. Every single fan will want those players out of this club immediately. And if it means they have to wait for 2-3 years for a bit more success, or 5 years, whatever it is, the last thing that you want as a fan of any football club, you know, Jamie's just alluded to what Everton and Liverpool football fans want. But fans are the same all around the country. They want to see the players represent the badge consistently well in work ethic. Yeah, miss chances, give goals away, all those things happen. And in the last couple of weeks, I've seen the player probably attacked most in the last couple of weeks have been Ashley Young. No, get off him. Ashley Young has actually, to be fair, given his all every single game over the last 7 or 8, 9 years for Manchester United. Ashley Young, to be fair to him, is playing at left back and right back, and he's having to cover for the mistakes of the recruitment that Manchester United have made at left and right back. He doesn't come as a left or right back, or a left wing back or right wing back. He's having to cover for the cock-ups that have been happening. And I feel like swearing on air, but I also like, to be fair, working for Sky Sports, so I'm not going to. But I'm furious because ultimately all he's had to go and apologise on behalf of his players today, which is a bad place to have to be when you've only been given the job 2 or 3 weeks ago. But he's got to go now and be clinical and ruthless and have the players with him that he knows he can trust.
I just think this is a really hard thing for people who haven't played football, haven't managed football teams, to get their heads around, that players will sometimes turn up and sometimes won't, when we'd all give anything to have been a professional footballer, particularly for a club like Manchester United.
Especially for a club like Man United. I think it's a relatively new thing. I don't think I experienced that in my time as a player.
Or as a manager?
Maybe 1 or 2. I think it's... how long have we got? Players are extremely powerful today. The cash they get gives them great independence. But I think for Man United, what they must do is believe in Ole and be patient with them, because it's a big job. It's not going to happen overnight. And by I say overnight, it's not going to happen in 2 or 3 or 4 maybe transfer windows. It's a big job. You saw a Man United team today that just didn't turn up. They're in their armchair. And old cliches you can trot out, like be first to the ball, win your individual battle. Which one of those players won their individual battle today? None of them. They played second fiddle from the first whistle to the end. Don't take anything away from Everton. They were full of aggro, they were full of aggression, fire and real passion. And Man United teams, and Ole alluded to it, that when they had a great team and had great individual players, and he mentions David Beckham and Scholes
Gary
and
Neville.
Giggs, all those players, it was the same in the team I played in. Ronnie Moran would say to us going out the door, just work harder than them and we'll win the game today. It wasn't go out and show how clever you are with the ball and how talented you are. Go out and work harder than them. And if you do that, if you match them for effort, you end up winning the game if you're the better player. And Man United, they turned up today like a team whose the season was over, a team that were dispirited, that had nothing about them. You'd love to play against that team every week.
What about the team on Wednesday night? There's got to be a reaction. It's going to be a sellout. There's going to be a huge demand you'd expect from the home crowd for their side to give a performance against Manchester City.
They have to now. And, I mean, you perform like that 6-0, 5 or 6-0, no doubt about that. I actually think in some ways for Liverpool, it may be better Man United lost 4-0 rather than win 4-0. And also the Arsenal result, I think, is not a bad one. If you're looking at it from Liverpool's point of view, because I think Manchester United feel top 4 could still be there. They have to show something. They have to show a performance there. It's a derby, and I think they would have anyway. But they're going to get massive criticism in these next few days, and rightly so. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is talking about some of these players not here. Always the talk when the team's not doing well is who we're going to buy. I sometimes think, who are you going to get rid of? Sometimes, but think of that. And you spoke before about it might take 2 or 3 years at Manchester United. Jurgen Klopp and Pochettino get it thrown at them that they haven't won a trophy, and that's fair enough. But you know, the supporters, they love the manager and they love the team and they're proud of the team and they watch what they're seeing. That's the problem with Manchester United. Not about win. Sometimes you just look at your team and think, I don't want him in a red shirt. I don't want him with that badge on his chest going out and representing this club. And I think for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the summer, yes, you've got to bring players in, of course. I think he's got to make a big decision on selling some of those big players who people think you have to keep. You don't have to keep. And today was the evidence.
Is it too far-fetched, Louis, to think that in the short space of time that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has now, between now and Wednesday, that he can get a winning performance out of that United team when they face a champions team who are chasing down another title?
Yeah, but everything is possible. The type of players, they have the talents, of course, to hurt any side. But it's down to the attitude, the readiness of some players that really has been targeted with all that criticism. They have an opportunity on Wednesday to show that they want to commit, they want to challenge. It's a derby. All that is like, I think it's just not a massive opportunity for Proud. But they have to really show something else. No, because as the manager will ask anyone's associated with the clubs, is to try harder, to just try harder. And right now, I'm just amazed how bad was that performance. So I think Wednesday is just the best platform.
The blue part of you came out on top today, at least.
Completely.
Well done, Louis. Thank you for joining us today. Enjoyed your company.